We fell out of love like shooting stars came crashing down, and we're building back up again now. I see your heart, see your mind, see all you hide. I won't let you go, can't let this die. When you lose yourself, I'll be right beside you. I see your heart, see your mind, see all you hide. I won't let you go, can't let this die. When you lose yourself, I'll be right beside you.
A man who on every occasion has given the best that he has.
I'll be right beside you.
Check, check. Mic check. Check the mic.
There's a distance between us. It's getting hard to reach out. Haven't seen you in seasons, but all I hear is your voice. I know my limits. You can break me down, but I'll stay till the finish line. And I've been counting minutes for quite some time now, just to see you again. And I've been counting days to get away, to see you again, see you again. Been finding ways to get away, to see you again, see you again.
Alright, cool. Welcome to the stream. I'm gonna bring down the music a bit. And, yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and get right into this. So, welcome to my stream. I'm Watcher DM. Call me Watcher, over at the book. If you don't know what the book is, ask a friend. See if you can get invited. And yeah, I am a dungeon master, 25 plus years, with breaks in between for marriage and other crazy things like a career. But more recently, I have become involved in module writing and adventure creation and trying to do the creative D&D creator thing. So with that in mind, and the fact that I've got a game tomorrow that I need to run, I'm gonna go ahead and adjust my camera here. Pardon me. So with that stuff in mind, I'm gonna go ahead and get right into the adventure. So I originally was gonna call it Winston's Vision. Upon further reflection, I'm gonna call it The Binding of Isaac. And the reason for that is we have a character named Isaac in the party. It's a Gerbine artificer. And in this game, that Gerbine is going to be made responsible for a Mapatch boy, for the purposes of negotiating a truce with the Alderheart Birdfolk Council. Effectively, the party is at the Fort Crest, just the bandit fortress in the Crest Mountains in the Humblewood campaign. So yeah, let's go ahead and mark this as a Humblewood document. And I've already done a little bit of pre-work here, as you can see. I'm just going to read through that real quick just to kind of get myself centered around what all needs to be done here. And kind of what I've got. So, there is one scene that I know I need to introduce early in the game. Basically, one of the player characters has been captured by... So, the last session, right, they attempted to infiltrate the bandit fortress. That attempt was thwarted, basically by the Vulpin rogues. I think he's a rogue. The Vulpin rogues' kind of inability to come up with clever names, basically. So, they were found out. The Vulpin then decided to attack, as Benna Saradin was in front of them. They attempted to arrest her, and were attacked in turn by the Mapache guards who were present. A combat ensued where half of the party was on the bandit side and the other half of the party was on the party's side. And so one of the party members fled, just straight up, I'm out of here, like, fled and hid. The other two fought. The Vulpin, and so there's a Vulpin named Silver, there's a Hedge named Winston, and then there's a Gerbine named Bibley. And Silver went down. Silver died. Silver was killed. Like, all 3 death throws failed, killed during this combat. And Winston was then bound and thrown in the brig. And kind of a little bit of history there. Silver used to be a bandit and left the bandits to protect a Luma bard named Clover, who is one of the other player characters who's been on a break and is going to continue their break, although they may show up for tomorrow's game for cake just to hang out afterwards. So tomorrow's game, we are missing both the players for Silver and the players for Clover, who are taking a little time to get life stuff done, while we pick up the game with Bibley, who is hidden in the fortress, and Winston, who is alone in a jail cell. Now, Winston has the hermit background, I believe, and the hermit background comes with a thing that's like, you have visions of a great peril or a great thing, and if I remember correctly, I seeded that with some, the fires, the destructive fires that were taking over the Ashgrove. So Winston kind of knew that the peril that the humble folk are in was coming, and tried to warn everybody, but was ignored, and was off living by themselves and having these crazy visions. So time in jail, and in fact, I'm just read what it says here: visions of a fiery doom, exploration. Winston has fitful dreams while in the cell at Fort Crest. The solitude has put them back in touch with their time as a hermit. And at this point, what I want to do is write some prose that are going to be the vision that that Winston has. So you stand on the edge of a desolate land, black earth dotted with the black earth dotted. So maybe we'll do this ashen ground dotted with the burnt bones of trees and brush reaching starkly towards a crimson sky. So we've kind of set a tone here. We've got some blacks and some reds. Hello, second viewer. If you'd like to chat, I'm happy to receive chat. Otherwise, please enjoy the music and the story. So we've set the tone. Suddenly, so we're in a vision. We're in a dream state. Suddenly, the ground beneath you jolts, shifting from side to side until you are thrown face first into the ashen ground, into the ashen earth. Thank you so much. Got a wonderful tea maid named Mom. Thank you, Mom, for wonderful tea. Please, would you mind closing the door? Oh, okay. Cool. Thank you. Alright. So, face first into the ashen earth. I think this might be... Here, let's go ahead. Let's do a little Grammarly. I gotta say, Grammarly, probably one of the best investments I've made in the last year. Pass. This is not correct. This is not correct. So young. Let's see here. Okay, so we're gonna get to this over here. Let's finish up with Visions of a Fiery Doom. Suddenly, the ground beneath you jolts, shifting from side to side until you are thrown face first into the ashen earth. You roll over and peer up the face of your assailant. An enormous serpent whose scales shine like embers. Yeah, that's sexy. Across its back. I'm not sure. Let's see. So its eyes are a mesmerizing pattern of warm colors, entrancing you as it hisses through its fangs. Wake up, Winston. Wake up. Okay. So these are the pros of the vision. You awake to find your jailer banging the door of your cell, saying, "Wake up, Winston. Vanna wants words with you." Okay. So this is setting the scene for the Visions of Fiery Doom. Basically, Winston has been in the jail now for probably about a week. I am going to give the players a little opportunity to do some downtime activities, the ones that are in, and the ones that are in jail, the ones that's in prison, is going to be experiencing this, ending with this scene, right? So, let's see, it's back, it's up. Oh, no. Because if it's a bomb... Winston is a proper noun. Winston is a proper noun. Cool. So Visions of a Fiery Doom looks good for getting prepped for game time, so that's fine. Ashes of the Past. Social encounter. So this encounter is what Benna wants to talk to the party about. So basically my plan is they are either Bibley is going to successfully infiltrate the fort from his hidden position, get Benna alone, and, basically try and finish the job, finish the deed, either trying to kill Benna outright or negotiating with her. Now, in the case where he tries to attack her, or comes upon her with the effort, wants to attack her, I'm going to be basically having Benna crying. When she's alone, she's crying. And she's crying because of Silver's death. So Silver used to be a bandit, like I said. So the next scene is Benna reflecting on Silver's life. And she says, "I knew him when he was younger, He was so eager to join the coalition and prove his worth. There he was, a teenager, with soot in his grey fur, and tears in his eyes, and a lump in his throat. His lips was trembling from pushing back from crying. He'd lost everything, his family, his home. That's the day he chose his name. I think he fancied himself a shinier version of Captain Steele, though at the time Steele was just a lieutenant. At the time Steele was just a lieutenant. Kind of like though Steele was just a lieutenant at the time, I think. That works better. He wasn't wrong either. You knew Silver was in the room, the constant chatting and chattering, always a joke or a sly trick up his sleeve. When we lost him, his captain came to me shaking. He'd never seen one of our soldiers who was so devoted to the cause abandon his role, all to save a young Luma child. I suppose he saw himself in her distress. And I imagine he began to see us the same way he saw the fires. Now that you know the burden you bear, I bear double. What is it that Alderheart demands of it in their infinite wisdom and generosity? How can their humble servant Ben Assaridin serve their great need? It's going to be really hard to do a British accent and sarcasm at the same time, but we'll see. Maybe it'll go well. Luckily, my players are super forgiving. Perhaps we... and then this is the opportunity, right? So, like, at this point, the party needs to express what's going on, right? And make their case that she should stand down the Bandit Coalition, end the violence against Alderheart, and make a truce. So the party will get an opportunity to speak at this point. At which point Benna will... She's not a stupid woman. So we're gonna try and read her prose and see how they go. Oh, that's weird. Okay, I think we're good. Perhaps we can arrange a truce. The cost of this conflict is deep into my pocket, and I am sure they suffer likewise. I require supplies, support for the refugees. I will provide the distribution and management network which they can observe. We will cease all hostilities towards Aldar and their citizens, including trade caravans. Our soldiers will, of course, require clemency, and until the relief efforts are fully working, I will remain in command of the coalition and Fort Crest. Once I am satisfied that the birds will support the humble folk, I will relinquish my position and put myself to their council for judgment. Myself to the council for judgment. On behalf of my soldiers. I give you this missive, Bibbly Bobbly Boo. Take it to Alderheart with your ally as a show of good faith. These two shall go with you to act as my emissaries. Lentil is a clever young lad and should know how to inform me of the results from afar. Isaac, I ask that you keep Lentil from distractions so he may carry out this task. I will send word to the bandit camps to cease all activity when I have gotten your affirmative response. So, I think that's pretty well written. Not a lot of changes I want to make here. I kind of wrote it in a flurry of inspiration earlier today. So, just going to go through and do a bit of cleanup, possibly wordy sentence. There he was, a teenager was sitting in his gray fur and tears in his eyes. Tears in his eyes. Teary-eyed. With soot. Covered fur. Teary eyes and a lump in his throat. I think we might be good with this. I think we might have nailed this. Soot, covered. That works. Okay. His lips was trembling from pushing. His lips were trembling from pushing back from crying. Maybe his lips are trembling from trying not to cry. He had lost everything. His family, his home, think that's right. There he was, teenager. Alright. What's this? What about this? Okay. Cool. Rewrite the sentence. It may be unclear. Okay, that's good. It may be unclear who or what they refers to. Consider rewriting the sentence to remove the unclear bits. So. Alright, perhaps we can arrange a truce. The cost of this conflict is deep in my pockets, and I'm sure Alderheart suffers likewise. Punctuation. I require supplies. Okay, so, and support for the refugees. I will provide the distribution of management networks which they can observe. We will cease all hostilities toward Alderheart and her citizens, including trade caravans. Our soldiers will, of course, require clemency, and until the relief efforts are fully working, say in full effect. I think that'll work better. And I will remain in command of the coalition and Fort Crest. Once I'm satisfied that the birds will support the humble folk, I will relinquish my position. I wish it could just be compassion. Am I right? No, it needs to be clemency. What is the other word for clemency? What's the pardon, right? Yeah, I think pardon is the word I'm looking for. Just require pardons until the relief efforts. I'll give you this message. Even a knowledgeable audience may be unfamiliar with the word missive. That audience can go read a different book. We're fine. This is fine. And bibli is a proper noun. Proper name needs to go into my dictionary, so it's fine. Okay. Now there is something. Okay, are we good with this? Is this fine? This is fine. This is really fine. Okay. Let's snap it off and snap it on and see what happens. Okay, cool. We're good. Great job. I love it when it tells me I get a good job. Okay. So, I kind of want to put some mechanics in this. So I think that this is going to be an interesting moment for roleplay, where the party can persuade her into giving more up, right? And we've kind of described a lot of things here that are so her requirements, what she will provide, right? Her requirements, what she will provide. So I think maybe what I'll do is I'm going to break this up. Alderheart suffers likewise. So we're going to do that. And we're going to go ahead and make a little... Somewhere around here is a dotted boop. That's my dotted boop. And we're going to make a bulleted list of these items. I will provide the distribution so this is another affordance, right? So she's giving them, which they can observe. We will cease all hostilities toward Alderheart. So, and their citizens, including trade caravans. So, again, we're just kind of building on each thing. Pardons for the soldiers. She demands being left in charge. And then the last kind of thing here is getting her to relinquish her position. So let's go ahead and do something like this. Persuasion checks. So, on a successful DC 13, DC 12, persuasion check, the party can convince her to agree to the following terms. So she will want, her last line is she requires support, supplies and support for the refugees, right? So that's the bare minimum. And in return, she will cease all hostilities towards Alderheart and their citizens. So this is the most basic win package, right? It's the most basic thing she's going to offer. A successful DC 15. Oh, and it's got to be, gotta write these correctly. Wisdom, persuasion check. The party can convince her to agree to the following terms. Was nope. Was there we go. That's probably true. Alderhearts and its citizens. Cool. A successful DC. Oh, and it's not wisdom. Wisdom ain't persuading, baby. Charisma check. So this is also a charisma persuasion check. She will also offer cease raiding trade caravans. And oh, wait a minute, hold on. Am I missing? Did I lose some shit? I lost some shit. I cut some stuff. There we go. So at this point, if they convince her to do more, she'll provide the distribution, the management network, Good Folk Council, observe and oversee the operation. And bird folk, I believe, is proper. See. And I think at this point, she's going to recognize that it would be impossible for her to continue raiding. If she's going to be running a distribution network. And this is the big money right here. This is the successful DC 20 charisma persuasion check. Gets her to cede completely. Offering basically to turn herself in and go to jail for the acts of the the acts of the bandits over the time that they've been active. All right. Give you dismissive bibbly bobbly boo. Take it to other hat. So actually, I'm going to move this one up. So each one's got a little give and take in it. And I think I can live with these changes. And if she turns herself in, of course she'll be requiring pardons for her troops. And then the emissaries. So we've established now what the first couple of scenes are. And now we get into another scene. So this is actually, so this is kind of a little interesting. So this scene here is actually not even titled yet. Because these are the encounters inside of the scene. So this is kind of a new design. It's kind of a new way I'm doing the configuration of my modules. So this will be Ghosts of the Past. No. In Remembrance. I think that's, yeah, In Remembrance is good, because it kind of highlights the Silver's role in all this as being kind of a catalyst for her softening a little bit. And we might write some prose here, so I'll just go ahead and put a little tag for prose to set the initial scene for each PC. So the exploration scene is kind of clearly for Winston. The social scene is kind of clearly for Bibley in a way, although Isaac, Winston, and yeah, everybody's gonna be there in the scene, so they all will have a chance to interact with her. And then 4, 5, 6. I'm not even gonna introduce a combat encounter to this scene, to this beginning scene. I think this is fine, kind of the way it is. Obviously, a little more work to do, but we're only on scene 2, so I gotta crank out like 6 or 8 of these things before we get to where we're going. Oh, cool. Yeah, I may have somebody to talk to about my crazy program idea that I'm working on. Alright. So let's look here. We got In Remembrance. So the next one is going to be A Long Road Home. So this is their return to Alderheart. Let's go. A trip down the Crest Mountains is at least as treacherous as the march up was. Ground is hard and sharp and leaves little affordance for your worn footwear. Calluses and bruises mark your feet. And the nights are filled with heavy snoring. Everyone exhausted at the end of every day. Dun, calluses. I know how to spell and things. Okay. So, also suppress my feet. Their nights are filled with heavy snoring, as everyone is exhausted at the end of the day. Finally, leave the last of the mountain passes behind. Find yourself in the rolling hills. About to enter the wood. And really quickly, let's go ahead. I'm not sure. Can you guys? Okay, you do see new tabs. Excellent, excellent. I'm going to crack open Humblewood world map. In fact, actually, what I should do is go to Roll20, because anything that I make up here, I'm going to need to add to the Roll20 board. I did pick up. Yeah, let's launch this. Whoa. Yeah, there we go. So this is where they're all going to start. Now, the march back to Alderheart. So I believe on the way back, the book has them stop in Avium. And I think we'll try and do the same thing. Let me grab the book real quick. Also, I should take the opportunity to give a shout out to the Deck of Many, now called Hit Point Press. You should check out all their stuff. It's pretty high quality shit. I just got the Humblewood minis, and I got this campaign setting as a gift, which is funny. When you get a campaign setting as a gift from a player who then demands that you run the game, who's gonna get the gift? Just kidding, I love it. I love the opportunity. So, here we are in, so we've passed the Bandit Menace. Okay, so this is, we're kind of at the end of 120. I'm gonna have her give Lentil the sword secretly to give to the party as a reward for accomplishing the treaty or the truce. And then an urgent summons. So it's slightly unclear. It says here, return to Alderheart. They return. If Benna was reasoned with, the party will see a new uniformed force around Alderheart, the Wildwood Brigade, into which the bandit coalition has begun to successfully transition. We're going to rename that. It's not going to be the Wildwood Brigade. It's going to be called... let's see... I've got a name in mind. It's a double entendre. Silver Legacy. And, of course, the joke being that it is, well, it's Silver's legacy, so Silver the dead Vulpin. But also there's a Silver Legacy casino in Reno, Nevada that I know of. That's where the name comes from. I don't know, I kind of like it. So what else does it say here? They specialize in quickly mobilizing across parts of the wood. The Perch Guard have trouble reaching. They have already been of great help in extinguishing fires before remote villages can be destroyed and delivering supplies and aid to villages damaged by blazes. Many members are humble folk, former refugees who use their knowledge of pathways under the forest canopy to get where they're needed in a short time. The bandit stronghold in the crest has been converted into a supply depot and fallback point for the wounded. A new headquarters is also under construction in the canopy near the Perch Guard's headquarters. Characters may even find Benna, or whoever was appointed the brigade's leader, working out of the temporary office. So this is kind of like, it's like they fast forward a bit. So what will probably happen is we'll get through that early scene. We'll march back to Alderheart. So we'll do the long road back to Alderheart, and then when they get to Alderheart, we'll do like a downtime in Alderheart. That'll work better. And then let's kind of get on to the bird chamber. The council chambers will now not only have the flags of the different bird folk perches adorning it, but also several flags of the larger Humblefolk settlements in the wood. The Humblefolk delegate selections for the Humblewood Council are ongoing. Many prominent figures have arisen in the political scene and are becoming more engaged in council matters, hoping to win their own seat. Benna has not been killed yet. If she's killed, defeated the leader, teenager players says, okay, yeah. Oof, yeah, pretty bad. Okay, trouble with tenders. At some point during their stay in the city, the party will run into one of the tenders speaking to a crowd in the Canopy Market. A frail young hooded Gallus stands on a crate in the market square, trying to catch the attention of the passing crowd. The fires are spreading more and more by the day. We need help to quell the blaze. Please join with the tenders and help us heal our woods. As he speaks, a shy-looking sable Luma stands awkwardly to the side of him. No one seems to be taking much interest in the Gallus speech, and some are also openly derisive. Fucking birds. The Gallus is named Havel of the Autumn Moon. And the Luma is Tever of the Spring Path. They both wear the robes of the tenders, although Havel seems to have more authority than Tever. Havel will recognize the party as the defenders of Alderheart and inform them that he had a friend in the caravan attack last month who survived thanks to their efforts. Right. He has heard of the party's deeds since they arrived in Alderheart and will admit to a bit of jealousy. He wishes he were able to go out and help survivors of the fires across the wood, but is frail and lacks the fortitude to work in such conditions. Tever seems incredibly nervous and informs Havel that he wouldn't be so quick to say things like that if he'd ever been to the Scorched Grove. Tever has been helping heal the grove, and will relate that lately things have been very difficult for the tenders there. Injured or worse due to monster activities. Tever was summoned to Alderheart by the council just like the party, but he isn't sure why. It's clear from the pained expression on Havel's face that there's more to the story. A DC 14 Wisdom Insight check. will reveal Tever is lying. Tever won't answer any more questions about his summons, and he will leave if pressed for information. So long as Tever isn't around, Havel can be made to divulge what he knows with a DC 12 Charisma Persuasion check. Tever only barely escaped an encounter with an unknown monster that has been hunting the tenders in the Scorched Grove. Tever doesn't talk about it, but Havel heard that Tever's instructor died. Dun, dun, dun. I'm going to drop the music out here. And I have heard some people say that it is distracting to listen to both. So we're going to give this a shot for a little bit. Let me know if anything, if it's better or worse, or better or worse, or worse or better. Get a little tea in me. A whisper. Also, just in case that's going, really? See if that improves the sound quality so you're not hearing a fan every time I talk. Okay, an emergency session. When the characters enter the council chambers, they are met with an unusual sight. It is filled with people. Birdfolk, humblefolk, tenders, tendies. Shout out to my boy Miniac and John. Ninjon? That guy's fucking hilarious. When the characters enter the council chamber, blah blah blah, lots of people, tenders, and even a few people from beyond the wood have assembled here. All those assembled clamor over each other. Their pleas desperate. Some are urging for immediate removal of all tenders from the grove before more lives are lost. Some are calling for a mobilization of the Perch Guard to meet the monsters head on. It seems everyone has an opinion and is fighting to be heard. Tever and Havel are here as well, standing patiently off to the side of the rabble. Shortly after the party enters, the familiar bright Gallus, seated at the middle of a long table at the front of the hall, raises her feathered hand. This is Beta, the council speaker. She waits patiently as many of the gathered birdfolk notice her gesture and fall silent. The silence of the hall is almost overwhelming in its contrast to the noise that filled it moments before. When Beta speaks, it is not with a booming voice or harsh language. The sound of command and respect permeate her every word. She addresses you and your companions quickly. Thank you all for heeding our summons so quickly. The wood is in great need, and many of our tenders have already paid the dearest price to protect it. We hope you will hear our plea and offer us aid in this most dire of circumstances. Speaker Beta continues by describing clouds of ember bats, larger numbers than have ever been seen. She speaks of strange fire creatures sighted in the wood and how they have injured many travelers. She then talks about the missing tenders and the reports of a huge unknown creature stalking the ash plains of the grove. Something must be done, which is why the council has called upon the help of the defenders of Elderheart. Beta offers whatever information she can, but this creature is a new discovery, and the council has little to go on. Tever is called up before the head of the table. He is the most recent tender to encounter the massive beast in the grove. He recalls seeing the ash of the plains seize up as if something were burrowing through. The creature never broke the surface, so he was unable to get a good look at it. It must have grabbed his instructor, though, as Tever saw him get sucked under the ash. Tever ran until he was safe on the edge of the scorched grove. Tever is obviously shaken after the encounter, but Havel places a hand on his shoulder, which seems to comfort him. Tever points out on a map where this most recent sighting took place. Vita will mention the grove is a dangerous place and ask Havel to look for someone to guide the party. At first, Tever simply raises his hand to speak. It's clear that he is conflicted and his fears getting the better of him. Despite this, he'll firmly state that he will guide the party to where he last saw the creature. He will admit his fear, but every second they waste is a chance for it to strike again. Alright, so, and then we move on to the Scorched Grove. So yeah, I think the plan is good. Oops, I bumped you. You've been bumped. Sorry about that. So I think the plan is good. So we should do a long road home. Behind yourself, behind and find yourself in the rolling hills, about to enter the woods. Okay. So situation. Easy. Okay. Oh, and find and okay. Wake up. Down. Push a little makeup. The sentence seems to be missing. And you find yourself in the rolling hills, about to enter the woods. Okay. So, one of the things that I've seeded with the party is that some of the bandits are evil. Like, some of the bandits are opportunists who, obviously, if 1 minute you're a bandit and the next minute you're a soldier in an army or a coalition, that's an upgrade for you. Hello, kickstand 284 with 4 ones. Well, I'm still made of meat, but other than that, fan-fucking-tastic, man. How are you today? I am working on prepping for my Dungeons and Dragons game tomorrow. It's a Humblewood game, and so I'm writing the scenes. This is my second scene I'm working on here, which is a long road home. So they're just finishing up in the Bandit Fort in Crest Mountains, and we're working out. So the way that I do scenes is I like to give it a title. I do coding and art and D&D. I even sing and dance, but I'm not gonna lie, that's not nearly as good as any of the other 3 things that you mentioned. you must play D&D as well. Oh, cool. Don't know what to do. Well, you can help me write this shit if you're interested. And if the sound of my voice gets too much, let me know. I've got some tunes. I can throw on some music on here too if you like. Any flavor you like. No skin off of my nose. Cool. Right on. Dope. Yeah, my Tuesday streams, because game I run Wednesday night, so Tuesday streams my DM prep stream, and then on Thursdays try and do that. You do homebrew for D&D, kick ass, nice, same. Yeah, so Watcher DM, the name. You can go check me out on all the things. Go to watcherdm.com. Follow me on Instagram. I got a new module I'm releasing next week. So it's called the Doom Desert in the Decanter of Delirium. It's strong on alliteration, but all custom art from a really cool person I met on Instagram. The author is super awesome. I mostly just did like production, like producing it and editing, because I wanted to understand what went into that process, like as a trying to make like a product. But yeah, I've got the whole thing together. I'm waiting on one last piece of art, and then I'm releasing it next week. If you sign up on my mailing list on my website, I'm going to be sending out for free to everybody on that mailing list. So welcome to go check it out. It's good stuff. I think it's really interesting and wild. But and then I've also got another couple of modules on there. One of them I think is free. You can grab. It's called the Desecration of Silverfire Abbey. It's kind of my first foray into like just producing a module. It's not fantastic, but it's what I did. I took the DM Dave adventure writing course and then his content creation course. So this is me kind of trying to do the thing, make my dream a kind of career. I'm not sure about career. It might be a retirement plan. But yeah, if you've got some homebrew stuff that I'd love to see it. Like I'm always down to check out other people's stuff and check out world building. I use World Anvil for world building, so I've got a couple of pretty cool pages up. I'll have to put links to them in my Twitch, but one of them is called Forge of Storms, which is a new project I'm working on with James Semple. He's a composer, fantasy composer, really cool guy. He's from the UK. Yeah, I got an itch.io. I haven't put anything up there yet. I absolutely need to. My younger brothers and I used to do hackathons back in San Francisco, like doing game hackathons and junk. And so they're both on itch.io. I think they're way more prolific than I am. My youngest brother just wrote like a 3D renderer, like a full on, like wrote it out himself. It's like one of those a scattered light renderer. It's really interesting. So hey, dude, Kickstand 284 Gaming, thank you so much for thanks for following, man. Thanks for the subscription on all the things. I love it. But yeah, so yeah, Forge of Storms is out there, and then also I think Silderan is my other world. It's kind of my base world, and that's kind of the one I've got the most to work on. But it's pretty cool. I can show it to you at some point. Yeah, watcherdm.com. Yeah, you can get there from there. Also, I think I've got a link tree that goes, it's like, link tree / watcherdm. And it's got all my junk there. You can sign up for the mailing list there. You can do all kinds of stuff. I'm still learning marketing, but whatever. I fucking hate the idea of marketing myself. But you gotta do it. You gotta do it if you want people to collaborate with and work with and shit. So, oh, thank you so much. Yeah, dude, awesome. I just got WordPress and slapped a theme on it, but I did design my own logo, so I'm not entirely talentless. Yeah. Anyway, long road home. So, I want this to be a scene that says, there are those who hate peace. Right? So that's the title of the scene, and it's a combat scenario. And what this is, yeah, I know, right? The mobile is actually the better version of that site. And yeah, there's an adventures page that I like desperately need to fill out. The point of it was to like put all my adventure notes in there. But yeah, ooh, dude, share the beans. Like, I'd love to hear it. What's your idea? If you want homebrew ideas, I've got all kinds of shit that I'm like, oh man, I'd love to stat that thing, and I have no time to stat monsters or like homebrew shit. I'm so bad at it. I just write, but it's like more like adventure stuff. And so I end up just using SRD stuff because that's what I can put in a book. Oh, pixel art. Dude, I heckin' do pixel art. I love doing pixel art. In fact, so I'm not sure. So we just met. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Gabriel, good watcher. Check out D. Surion. My idea is no ideas right now. I'm just doing it. I got a ton of time. Oh, cool. Nice. So check this guy out. He's actually one of my first patron people that I did like followed on Patreon. D. Surion. So this cat right here does like a whole series of pixel art stuff specifically designed for Roll20. So we're gonna change gears here for a sec, and I'm gonna take you over to my Roll20 for Pixels and Pagans, which is my like, what's it called, West Marches style game, and I'm gonna show you around there a little bit. But this is the jam, dude. This has like, we've got like, I think 60 something characters or 50 something characters, like 20 plus players, all that have been playing in this world for like over a year. Oh shit, I got somebody still logged in here. This is the streets of, oh crazy. Actually, so this is a scene from the game that we ran Oh no, this okay, he reused it. That's what happened. How cool. Somebody must have reused it. So this is a scene from the Doom Desert game. So the guy who wrote it ran us through it as like a play test. That's super nice. Game development art conditions. Yeah, yeah, totally. So you can see it's all pixel style art, and he's got all these tokens in here that are pretty great pixel art wise. Like in my opinion, I think these are totally dank. Like they work, they're usable, and he's got a ton of them that are animated. So you can get like really cool. Like check this guy out. Look at that. That's I don't know about you. That shit's sick. That's ill as hell. Like I would love to be able to do that shit. So for that, what kind of pixel software do you use? What are you using for your art right now? I'd love to hear about it. This is my Patreon. Oh no, that's my bank. Don't look at my bank. God, I hope this is dangerous shit. Closing all my tabs on here. Yeah, it's pretty cool. This is actually, hold on, let me reload this. I think this is. I'll give you a little sneak peek here. You can take a look. Piskels. Okay, cool. I used Krita. I had a really hard time with it. Like I like it, but it just I was using it on my Mac, and my Mac just seemed to start kind of browser based. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. I use Pixel Edit on my Mac for this. For pixel art usually. And then I use Photoshop for digital like painting and stuff, which I suck at. Six pencil brush. I will have to keep that in mind. I am such a novice when it comes to brushes and shit. Like you'll see here. In fact, I can show you some of my art in this book. So this is the pre-release version of the book. Now this art was all done by Maya B. So I will Moth Puddle. Go ahead and shoot you the link for them if you want to go check out their stuff. Again, super amazing artist. Totally randomly found him on the internet. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, crack it out, man. Get working on it. I love this little bit here. This is one of my drawings. So I drew the wizard Karazar, wanted dead or alive for crimes against morality and decent commerce. Um, and then yeah, drew a little bottle down here, made the diagram, drew this little thing of a guy carrying his coffin across a desert. This is another one of Maya's pieces. You can see very cool art style, very different. I love the colors; it's so good. And then she also drew this, the Sphinx. We got a black Sphinx of black quartz in this adventure. And then down here towards the bottom, this is the gap. This is my last image I'm waiting on, so I should be getting that this week. A board game with Tabletop Simulator. Cool, nice. What's that like? You know, I tried using Tabletop Simulator a while back, and I had a not very good experience actually. Maybe I need to try it again. I think I probably need to put more time into it. But it seemed like a lot of work to kind of get set up. Oh, actually, I'm reopening that because I'm going to watch that later. So let's not get DMCA'd. Alright. There are those who hate peace. What should you homebrew? Any ideas? So, I actually do have a thing. Actually, I've got a whole clusterfuck of things you could stat up. If you go to one of my other patrons, and they are called What the Elemental Creations on Patreon, and you can find them in a bunch of different things. It does take a lot of work, doesn't it? Okay, I thought so. So if you go there, so what they have right now is they've got a bunch of they've done a bunch of 3D models that are they did like all the realistic Pokemon as 3D models for STL download, and then they've been breaking off into some new stuff. So like this is like a Hyena Queen, Jacidi, Mimojo, Pack Mistress, like super dope. Kind of African savannah style. Like look at this alligator monster beast, Amut the Soul Devourer. So good. Um and this is like a kind of like a centaur kind of creature. Adila, Adila, Druidess of the Du Sutali herd. Um, this is absolutely my jam. This kind of shit, like non-Western European style stuff, where you're like, okay, this is what a tribal motherfucker sees when his world is full of magic. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's absolutely my jam. So I love seeing that kind of stuff statted up. And here, hidden beneath the cool shit, is, oh, you want a big one? Okay, so the big one would be stat up one of these bad boys. So if you've never seen James and the Giant Peach, this is kind of modeled after James and the Giant Peach. It's basically a, oh, you made the cadaver collector into a playable race. That sounds, ah, that sounds like really unnerving to describe. Like, you walk and become heavier as you move your way through the graveyard. But this is a cool creature. So this is like a thunder and lightning god, but it's like a rhinoceros thunder god. So like think like gargantuan, like kaiju sized elemental monsters that are like based on real creatures. So yeah, I think some of these would be pretty cool to see homebrewed if you're talking about like homebrew races and classes and stuff. Gosh, there's so much good stuff already out there. Like it's hard to imagine new creatures that don't already have stat blocks. One of the things that I've been working on a lot, like so running games, like prepping and running games, kind of has this problem where like if you're in it for an adventure, right, you get some book or whatever, flex weapons or bodies that max of each is 6. You can only choose one weapon to increase attack and bodies AC. Oh, okay. Yeah, that seems mechanically simple enough. It just sounds, like I said, it just kind of sounds gross to describe all the time. Like if a player was playing a cadaver collector, it would have to be like a super grim dark setting where all the party is like undead, evil, nasty bits and doing doobobs and whatnot. But if you like, so if you get a module, right, you're in it for a bunch of reading, and the reading is organized usually in a way that is, how do I say this? It's not necessarily super straightforward. Like it's kind of hard to get your head around like what you should be doing in a given scene based on what's written. Like you can kind of pull what you need to do out of it and create your own little notes. But for me, it makes more sense to give somebody a module that they can read right out of the gate, and while they're reading it, like understand it well enough to execute on it. So if you look at how I did, how we did this, the module for Decanter, right? Decanter of Doom. So out of the box here, we put kind of a bunch of different hooks. Like these are ways that you could get your players into this adventure, right? They're not in the hooks down in the adventure. They're up here to give you some inspiration, but we're not doing the work for you in this regard, right? But then when you get down here, we're like, okay, here's the important background shit. Here's your one hook for getting into this adventure. Any of the ones above, you got to make up your own rules how they got there. But this is the one that this adventure describes. So then you get into, we do like a breakdown of the decanter as a single entity, like the whole decanter. So you get general concepts about travel, visibility, elimination, and encounters. And then you get into like the City of Silence, right? Now the City of Silence has a description. It's got a narrative description. You can use any part of that to describe to your players. But then instead of just like putting all the shit about the encounters that happen like in the description, I break it down and title each encounter. So Echo Chamber of Commerce is an exploration encounter, and it describes what the party has to do to be able to engage in the exploration of this area. And then the Charade of the Whispering Harpies is a social/combat encounter. You can socialize and interact with the harpies, but if you fuck up that social encounter, they attack, and this is how that works. So it's all described in a very consistent, clean way. And we did that for every single location in the adventure. So each location usually has at least one of the 3 pillars of play as an encounter, and many of them have more than one. And it's always organized with exploration first, and then social, and then combat, because as a DM, if I, like, all the effects from social and combat are going to result in things that are technically exploration. Like if the world changes because of a discussion, or if when this is killed, like this other thing happens, that's all kind of exploration stuff. So we describe that up front so that it's kind of like the most important thing that you need to keep in mind, and then you can go ahead and run the social and combat encounters and deal with the interactions there. So it's a format change that we're trying with this module, and I really hope it takes, because I'm writing a tool that will basically allow you to slap together, like say, okay, I want to make an adventure, and then it'll say how many scenes do you want, right? And the average, like the default will be 7, and like it'll suggest 6 to 8 scenes. You make those scenes, and they're just kind of nameless, like positionless scenes at first, but you give each one a title for the scene, and then you can put in it like, okay, this is the location of the scene, these are the actors in the scene. So you drop like, you would say, there's a bunch of creatures that I want to put in the scene, or NPCs. The player characters would be like a token that you can drop into a scene. Obviously they're in all the scenes theoretically. And then once you've got all those bits in the scene, you can write the encounters inside of the scene and tag them as being social or exploration or combat. And then, so it should be a very fast way of like stripping together the bones of an adventure. And the coolest part is you should be able to take any scene and say, oh, okay, well, this is tied to this location, right? So unless it has any dependencies on another scene happening, let's say I come up with a great scene for my wizard's tower that's, to the east or whatever, and the party hasn't gone there yet. They're on this other adventure in the west, but I've got this great scene, it's there. And the party, at some point during the adventure, says, nah, fuck this thing, we're gonna go check out that wizard tower. And they just wander off to the wizard tower. Now, I don't have to, like, come up with shit off the fly. I can just be like, oh yeah, I already have a scene ready for that. Boom, right? And then we're gonna make this shareable and remixable. So basically, as a world builder, you could just sit there and write scenes and locations and NPCs and home build and homebrew all day, right? Doing anything you want. And everything that gets used from you in campaigns in a DM's world gives you XP. And then you can use that XP to like buy more NPC slots in the system, or get, boons and stuff. Like, we're talking about building some cool like reward systems into the software so that, people who create in the community, like creating art, for instance, they can, they can benefit from that and kind of engage in a little something like commerce. Might even be commerce eventually. Like, I'd love to see it so that we just have so many adventures written in this system that people are like, yeah, fucking, I'll just go there for my adventures. Like, I can mix and match and reformat them, no problem. I can attach them to my own locations. Like, I can take the scaffolding from somebody's existing scene and just swap all the NPCs and locations in it to be people from my campaign, and now it's my scene, it's my adventure, right? So that's kind of the concept behind it. But yeah, I'm working on it with my downstairs roommate. who's also one of my players. Anyway, there are those who hate peace. After... Oh, you finished the art? Well, Sakatumi, how can I find it? Where do I follow you on? Your kickstand 2841111. See if this it's looking for you. You are not searchable on the internet, my friend. Yeah. Chalky art and pastel art is cool. Oh, cool. Yeah, Minecraft characters, man. I love playing Minecraft. So there are those who hate peace. While the party sleeps, a small band of bandits, unhappy to be losing their lucrative license to loot. God, why am I such a nerd for alliteration? Oh, well, yeah, I suppose that's probably common. I'm an old nerd. I'm like, yeah, I'll just use the same username everywhere. This appears to be an show. Okay. Unhappy to lose their lucrative license to loot. Creeps up on the party with the intention to steal Benna's missive, or Benna's message for the council. Oh, kickstand 284. All right, cool. I'll look you up. I think. What? Window. Give me on a window. Here, just in case. You can never be too careful. Oh, cool. Can I call you by your apparent name on the internet? Dude. Yeah. Yeah, you're having a good time, man. I love it. Oh, that plant is super cool, dude. Classy. And I like your bird too. That's a really sick bird. Job. Nice one. Oh yeah. Yeah, I used to I actually had a freaking kind of going YouTube channel back in like 2008. Like right after, so it's super funny when I was like user 64 on YouTube when it first came out because my buddy hit me up, was like, hey man, I just met this guy named John and he told me about this crazy thing that he got going. On Twitter, I got you on Twitter. I guess I could call you T-Bone. So it's not too on the drawings I just made not too long ago. I think I did good, at least for me, starting at Davey5603. So you were talking to at Davey5603, and yeah, there's two photos here. One is of a Mario plant, and one is of a cardinal. I think that's what that bird is. Pardon me. Jeez. Oh, okay, cool. Well, if that's not you, that's not you. If you're kickstand 284 on itch.io, I see you got some. Maybe that's you doing some game dev. Looks cool. Got kickstand 284 gaming. 21 subscribers. You got some Minecraft stuff, and I can't stream because I locked myself out of my YouTube account. Them's the breaks. Them's is the breaks. Yeah, it's a cardinal. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's what I thought. Right on, my dude. Yeah, right. All party sleeps. Small band. To attending to. So creeps up on the party. Attempting to steal Bennett's message for the council and destroy it. I'm sorry, give me a sec. Right on, right on. Yeah, social media is kind of a beast, man. I can't believe I can't believe it worked out the way it did. I think if you think about it, like what we've got today is wizardry. Like it's full on magic. Like if you did this 1,000 years ago, you burned at the stake, right? It's like I'm pushing light to communicate verbally or visually with people across the world. That's clairvoyance. That's telepathy, right? That's what that is. Like you're just straight using energy to do that. And the only thing that facilitates it, of course, is the weird magical apparatus, which is like twisted wire and like weird shit, like material sciences and crap. Anyway, it's magic. And yeah, what do we do with it? Social media. Why? Advertising. That's why. It's money. Fucking hate money. Anyway. The small band of bandits. Small group of bandits, I think, sounds probably better. Unhappy to be losing their lucrative license to loot. Creeps up on the party. And you still been his message for the council and destroy it. They use the... Actually, let's see what they use. 'Cause I think I want to use the stat blocks from here. Oh, cool. What's the idea? Or if you just want to work and like do your, jam, like let's jam, dude. I'll throw in some music. Do you like chill hop? Actually, I think the chill bass that I've got's pretty dang. Listen to that.
I'm a curious man with some curious genes. I get that from my dad. I'm not far from the tree. I feel like I'm a butterfly, sting like a beamer. I hate features. Got my running around with my head in the clouds, feeling lost and then found. When they woke up and frowned, tell myself I'm the man. I was right to be left. Now I'm back to myself. Who am I to keep on holding you from everything you want? I can see you once you get you want. Who am I to? Who am I?
Magic items. You know what you would like? You probably like I'm gonna give you a giveaway. Giveaway candidate. I'm gonna give you my Scroogeways Festival module that I wrote. And you can check it out and let me know what you think. It's a little corny. It's a little corny, but it actually has some pretty cool. There's the silly Yeah, sorry about that. There's some silly ass magical items in this document that you'll probably dig. So I'll close that. I'll slap that out for you. Check it out. Let me know what you think. This is actually the first module I released. It's barely a module. It's more like an introduction game, but it's really cool because you can basically slap it in anywhere where you're like, hey, I just want to have like a festival game, like we're kicking it at a festival or a fair, and it's kind of got some rules for doing different skill challenges and stuff in that context. It's pretty fun. But the rewards section, there's some crazy ass magical items down there that are, I think it'd be pretty fun to draw personally. Yeah, take a look. Give me that feedback. While the party sleeps, a small group of bandits unhappy to be losing their loot group license to loot groups up in the party, and soon this still bends a message to the council. So let's see. Look at the. Yeah, I think what I'm gonna do, because the party's all level 5 right now. Just a little bit. And these guys are challenge rating 3. So we're gonna make it plush monsters. Yeah, right? The plush monsters are lit, dude. Like, everybody who's ever won one, first of all, they almost across the board refuse to use it in game. They're like, no, hold it, it's my plush. Like, it's my plush Tarask, fuck off. And then the few people who do use it, like, everybody's around them like, whoa. Because it's like crazy shit. Like, the Lich comes in and does like cloud kill. It's like, my plush Lich. Cloud kill. And it wipes out everything. It's so funny. In fact, and you probably, yeah, and don't worry about it. If you ever get a chance to check out my Patreon, oh god, it's not in there. It might be for free. I'll switch them over to my free thing. But I've got the Tarot cards, all the major arcana for the Tarot, and I've got them all lined up. You can do, yeah, the prize of C100 is good, right? That's good. So the each of the major arcana has like a magical effect. So like a player can get a card and have it, and once per game, one player can use their major arcana card and it'll have an effect on the game. So if you have the Chariot, right, like all land movement is doubled. Like your speeds are doubled. So it takes half the time to travel around, stuff like that, right? So they're kind of like game-breaking effects in a way, but they're really not. Like they're kind of designed to give my players the affordances to be able to kind of bend the rules. If they're like, look, we don't want to deal with travel this game. We don't want to deal with, you know, random encounters every fucking mile. Throwing down the Chariot card. We're getting there fast, you know? Or I think one of them, like the High Priestess, like you can use it and it resets everybody's spell slots that are divine, like all the divine spell slots. So if you get a cleric and a druid and like fucking throw that shit down, it's like whoosh, everybody's got their spells back. It's super amazing. Wand, cool. Wands sound dope. Ooh, you're gonna love the Wand of Painted Face. That's like the silliest thing in the book. My players use it all the fucking time. That and the Wand of Bubbles. The Wand of Bubbles is also a favorite. To steal Ben's message. Oh, and you know, orbs aren't those a little underused? Oh, like crystal spheres? Like is that what you're talking about? Orbs? You're talking about like seeing stones? I've got one. I'll show you my seeing stone. It's right over here. Let me go grab it. I'll tell you why nobody uses them. They're heavy as shit. Who's gonna bust this out of a bag and be like, hold on. At two, but not time, take two. But not orbs are hella cool. I used to be a juggler. I used to juggle, like comedian juggler. I still got juggling balls around here somewhere I could juggle. But being a juggler, I learned about how David Bowie did that shit in Labyrinth as the contact juggling. You've seen that, I'm sure. Seen Labyrinth. And it turns out David Bowie did not do that shit in Labyrinth. That was a guy named Mike Motion, and he actually invented contact juggling, as far as I know. And he did it like he was under the cloak doing that shit while David Bowie was sitting in front of him. It was pretty crazy. But that's, I think, a beautiful use of the orbs. Your board game, it relies on imagination like D&D. That sounds, the more I'm exposed to like modern board game design, the more I'm seeing that kind of stuff, and I really think it's a great move. Like, it's great when you can use rules to create constraints that like bolster creativity and enhance creativity. So I'd love to learn more about your board game. If there's like a place I can check out, do some reading about it. Okay, so I think what we're gonna do here, I think the party's about 4 people and they're all level 5. So I'm gonna put 3 Gerbine swashbucklers and 3 Mudpatch brutes. Oh yeah. Well, so I'm Watcher DM1 on Twitter. If you're on Twitter, you can chat me there. I think. Hold on a sec. Let me double check. I might actually even be available on. Oh yeah, whatever. That's my Discord. Just shoot me, hit me up on Discord. I hope you got the warning at the beginning of the stream that says, "This is mature audiences. I cuss like a sailor, so don't stress." But also, like, if you're offended by HE double hockey sticks or the other list of long, words that'll get you looked at funny or kicked off the TV, look out. I will drop F-bombs in this for sure. Not because I want to, but just because I'm too old to know what the hell I'm doing most of the time. The patch needs to go into my dictionary. I'm pretty sure Gerbine also needs to go in my dictionary. Dictionary. Yeah, we're good. I don't believe in like moral authoritarianism, and I think language is kind of the first tool of man. Like, until we had language, we didn't really know how to do anything together. Like, we very little. We were basically animals, and so you can't take away somebody's language, man. That's like fucked up. Like, they got to be able to say what they want to say, and if they can find new and inventive ways to say what they're saying, like, power to them. That's magic, right? That's power. Words are power, in my humble opinion. We'll attempt to stealth into the PC camp, regardless of the guard situation. So they'll try and sneak in and get this no matter what, because they're they fight until bloodied, and will abandon each other. to save themselves. These are evil bandits, right? They will attempt stealth. Three drooping swashbucklers and 3 mid-patch brutes will attempt stealth. Will move stealthily into the PC camp regardless of the guard situation. They fight until bloodied and will abandon each other to save themselves. Repentance of the captive. And this will be a social / exploration encounter. So, if the party manage to capture any of the bandits, booty, nice. Render requesto acepto. I have a terrible memory. The saying goes. Bruh. Cool. If the party manages to capture any of the bandits, they will. Represent the candidate. They capture the bandits. They will beg for their lives and their freedom. Please, let me go. There were weapon caches nearby. Must be worth hundreds, if not 1,000 gold, right? Don't put your accent in your text. Hundreds, if not 1,000 gold. Untie me. Mark it on your map. Coming over to deal done up. I like it. It's a good turn of phrase. And if the party manages to capture any of the bandits, they will beg for their lives. Freedom. Seems legit. They'll beg for their lives and freedom. Easy. Rewrite this sentence. It must be worth hundreds. Please let me go. My weapon cache is nearby. Is it ironic? Might be coincidence. I don't know that it's ironic. Turns out irony is a hard thing to pin down. The song Ironic by What's-Her-Face? Get Lewis at What's-Her-Face. Alanis Morissette contains no ironies in it and is only coincidences. That's ironic. So, it's ironic that her song contains no ironies in it. I don't know if that makes any sense. Let's see. Must be worth hundreds, if not 1,000 gold. Just untie me, I'll mark it on your map, and we're a deal done up. they attempt to deal with the bandit. Successful DC 13 charisma deception check will reveal Captain Steel is behind the attack, claiming that Ben has gone soft. Since Silver betrayed her. I think that's pretty legitimate for that scene. That's more than enough. And we got a social exploration and combat encounter for the long road home, which is great. Now, all right, where are we at? We're at 7:39. She's like, I got 20 minutes left on stream, and I'm 2 scenes into a 6-scene game. Bird folk council will hear Bird folk council chat identity. Oh yeah, the broadcaster. Dude, I can use a customizable badge. I want a badge. Ooh. I don't want to. Huh. The toys. Find the perch guard. Ready at the gate. I do want to hear a funny story. I desperately want to hear a funny story. Tell me all about it. Oh. Well, I mean, exposing your real name isn't really doxing yourself. Like, doxing yourself is more like, here's my social security number. But I feel you, like, you know, whatever level of secrecy you're comfortable with is important. Yep, the Underfall. That's where they're going. Let's wait. The Underfall. Of the Bird Council. Be informed. Oh. Well. I mean, you know my real name. My real name's Gabriel. Like, I guess. Yeah, I mean, again, it's kind of a. I don't know who told you that. It's certainly an opinion you could have, but and I would say I would definitely argue that like if you're younger, keep your identity. Like it's your identity. It's safer for you not to have people know who you are, right? Because you're right. It's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to find people. But as you get older, I think it's kind of the inverse, right? Like when you're yeah, I know. Like shit, my full name is Gabriel Hernandez. Like that's my name. Like it's on most of my stuff. Like I go by Watcher because that's what everybody on my DM group calls me. But yeah, I'm like again, like as an adult, right, like with like a job and stuff, like you can't be famous if nobody knows your name, and largely that's a real name thing. Like you can have a stage name if you're a entertainer, and like I suppose Watcher DM would be my stage name. Anna Claire has subscribed. Oh, thank you. Oh, thanks for subscribing. You should come join us on Twitch and get into the chat. I can't do chats on YouTube yet, although I will probably figure it out someday. Hello. Let me see if there is something I can do about it though. Let me pull up my YouTube. I'm not 100% sure what the powers here are. My channel. What I'm doing. Don't want to do that. Okay. Hey. If you're watching this on YouTube, I can chat with you now also. I have a chat open. What do you do? Yeah, totally, right? Like privacy is a thing. And how your relationship with privacy, that's on you. Just like everything, right? It's about consent. Like I personally, I believe privacy is a new thing. Like so if you think about like information in kind of the bigger lens of human history, it's a very different thing. Like 1,000 years ago, it was impossible to be heard by more than 1,000 people. Like unless you were, I don't know, Jesus, maybe. Like, and even then, right? It's poorly translated in like 50 different. Like, it's very word of mouth. The fidelity of the information is very low, and basically you would have had to write something thousands of years before and have it reproduced for literally thousands of generations for people to even consider it popular. Like how well read was Socrates when he was alive versus Socrates today, right? So from that context, right, privacy, it's kind of a new idea. Like there was, I don't think, ever enough visibility into people's lives that you could claim like that privacy was a concern until you got to the modern time. You got telephones and you got actually publishing is probably the first time when privacy really became a concern, because you could kind of be like in despotic situations, like if you're the dictator or whatever and you write some revolutionary piece of literature, like he's gonna have the dudes come like kick down your door and kill you, right? So you can be link me that board game. That'd be dope. Do I have any other? I think there's maybe some other things here. Let me double check. I want to double check my little mini feed. Ooh, I got subscribers, dog. That's dope. That's so nice of you guys. Anyway, so I guess I can catch up some of the people who just joined us. I'm actually kind of spinning down. We're probably going to go another 15, maybe 20 minutes, and then I'm going to be killing the stream. But this is my prep stream for tomorrow night's game of Humblewood. And I'm calling my game tomorrow The Binding of Isaac, because one of the characters is named Isaac, and he's going to be bound to watching after one of the other player characters named Lentil, who is a wind-touched Mapatch artificer. They're both artificers. So I was explaining to my friend Kickstarter here or kickstand here. My method for doing scenes. So I give a scene a title. I usually do some prose to just describe the scene. In this case, I haven't for In Remembrance. It's kind of the opener scene. Visions of a Fiery Doom is an exploration encounter. It's actually like a dream vision encounter where one of the characters, Winston, who's a hermit background, gets a vision of the Ash Snake, which is kind of this big monster that they're going to be dealing with in the next couple of sessions. And then Ashes of the Past is the social encounter where Benna Saradin reflects on the life of Silver, who is one of the bandits that was on the party side and died at her hand. So she's kind of like, man, I remember when this guy was a kid, you know, like I brought him into the coalition and now I had to put him down by my own hand all because of this bullshit. So it's pretty interesting. I think this is pretty well written stuff right here. I like it. And more importantly, I took kind of there's a vague piece of text in the book for Humblewood that describes Benna negotiating what she's willing to give and what she's willing to kind of take from the Bird Council. And see if I can find it here. So the bandit leader, and then it's cutting off the head, and then it's if Benna was captured or if she was reasoned with. So it just kind of describes like what happens if you do things. And I guess here it says if a player has to roll, their character must succeed in a DC 16. Yes, so here you go. Should a character offer a particularly impassioned and heartfelt plea, decide how Benna behaves based on their role playing. If a character has to roll, their character must succeed in a DC 16 Charisma Persuasion check. A successful negotiation will only be enough for Benna to agree to treat with the bird folk, her hated enemy, so that the lives she has fought to save are not lost needlessly in the struggle. If this is accomplished, the party will be allowed to leave the camp to deliver Benna's terms to the council, but bandit activity will not stop in the interim. Failure to sway her will lead to combat. So it's a little bit designed to end up in a combat scenario, unless the PCs engage in roleplay. And I'll be honest, these are pretty new players, or they were. So that kind of broke down pretty early, but they died. So one of the PCs died in the encounter against Benna initially, and the other one got captured and is in jail. So this is the one where there's also one other PC who escaped and hid out in the fort. So he's creeping around the fort, a little Jerbine swashbuckler named Bibley. He's a ranger, actually. I think it's a Jerbine ranger. And he is kind of the last piece to this. He's going to end up engaging with Benna in a way that's going to lead to them probably negotiating a truce, because she liked Silver. She knew Silver, and when he died, it hit her hard too, right? So kind of have a little contingency for that here. And then what I like that I wrote here is, I bumped these a little bit. I think the baseline will be to cease hostilities toward Alderhutton citizens, and she requires the supplies and support for the refugees. And then we'll do like a nice big fatty 18 charisma persuasion check. She'll also offer to provide the distribution and management network, cease raiding on trade caravans, as well as the Alderheart civilians. And the Birdfolk Council can observe and oversee the operation, but she'll remain in command of the coalition and Fort Crest. On a successful DC 20 charisma check, she's going to offer that once she's satisfied the Birdfolk will support the Humble Folk, she'll relinquish her position and put herself to the council for judgment on behalf of her soldiers. And of course, the requirement there is that her soldiers be granted clemency or require pardons. So that's the bit there, and then the party's going to head home, which is Alderheart, and on their way home, they're going to encounter this encounter, which is a combat encounter. There are those who hate peace, right? So they're going to sleep, and while they're sleeping, kind of at the foot of the mountain, at the foot of the foothills, they're going to be attacked by three Jerbine swashbucklers and 3 Mapatch brutes. This is a social exploration encounter for if they capture any of those, they can squeeze information out of them. For instance, that Captain Steele, an invention of my own, is behind the attack, claiming Benna has gone soft since Silver betrayed her. And now we're at the third scene, which is they've arrived at Alderheart. They have the message. Kickstand, yeah, I'll check that out when I get off stream here, and I'll give it a read, and I'll ping you back. And yeah, I'd be down to nerd out on it, man. I love board game shit. It sounds dope. So you arrive in Alderheart, find the perch guard ready at the gate. They tell Lentil and Isaac that they must wait in the Underfall. Actually, they tell the party, because at this point the entire party is Humblefolk. They must wait in the Underfall while the Bird Council can be informed of their arrival, and the council convened. Passive voice. Okay. While they inform the Bird Council their arrival, this is gonna say it's unclear. Must wait in Underfall while informing the Bird Council of their arrival. And the council convened. Okay, cool, clever. So the party are escorted to the Underfall by at least 3 perch guard. We'll find guards at their door the entire evening. Party is escorted. This is correct, but needs probably capitalization. Guard at the door the entire evening. So, we're gonna do a exploration encounter here called Just Going Out for Ice. And this is a kind of a silly reference to if you've ever been in a hotel and you gotta go to the ice machine, right? So you're staying in some shitty ghetto, weird, you know, Underfall root structure where all the, you know, dispossessed refugees are. And I've just got to go out for ice. So this is somewhat social, somewhat exploration. So we'll do it as an exploration social. The perch guard can be convinced to let the PCs out for a few hours if they are properly encouraged, we'll call it. Successful DC 15 deception charisma check and 10 gold pieces will ensure the party are free to roam the Underfall. Failure will result in increased count of guards. Possible manacles and possibly being chained to furniture. Room where they stay. Chain them up to the furniture. Hours, if properly encouraged. Properly, adequately, like that. Thank you. Grammarly, by the way, and it's not a sponsor, but holy smokes, they fucking should be. Grammarly is hot shit, dude. So good. Saving my ass. party is free to roam the Underfall. The failure results in increased count of guards, possibly. Yeah. Possible. What do you call that? Restraint. Furniture in the room. Restraint by chain. Furniture in the room where they stay. I'm just going to assume that that's fine. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just for a homebrew tomorrow, or a game I'm running tomorrow. So I think that'll give me enough to go with. And then let's see. So if the party attempts to sneak out, guards are on high alert. There's a passive perception of 18, so they're gonna have to roll some amazing stealth checks to get out. Also, if they are seen by any perch guard, there are at least 5 in the Underfall, but the other layers of Alderheart have many, many more. They will be attacked, restrained, thrown in a local jail cell. If the party manages to escape combat and make it to the Bird Folk Council chambers, Perch Guard will be ordered to stand down by, I think, Beta is her name? Speaker? Who demands to know what happened to Silver. Where is Benaceridin now? Cool. So this could turn into like a really cool chase scene, I'm feeling like. So they can try and sneak out, and then if they're seen, I feel like it turns into a chase scene. Where the Perch Guard are chasing them through the different areas of Alderheart. Which I think I'll do with just some really simple dice rolls. We'll just use some I might be able to draft up a quick mechanic for that actually. We attacked, so sorry, pardon me. Students run over jail cell. If the party stay to fight, use non-lethal damage. Encourage the theme from the players. if they choose to flee, ask them where they are going to flee to. So at this point, I've established that we're going to attempt to handle some kind of flight situation. So if they're going to flee, I'm going to put them in front of the image of Alderheart. Rotated. Okay. So this is the Alderheart world map. And we're looking for the tree map. It's super weird to me that they put these tokens on here, but didn't bother like putting any data in them. Isn't that weird? Like, you're gonna go through the bother to put all these pictures on here, but I can't click any of them to get more information about the Great Tree. I have to go into this document and then figure it out. I don't know, it seems weird. Maybe this has the information on it. No. I guess it kind of makes sense because they those are characters that you're when you assign tokens that way. But this is like part of the weakness of this tool. It's one of the things I want to resolve with the tool that I'm building. Which, by the way, it's not like a non-thing. You can go to quest-giver.com and you'll see like the beginnings of it. It's just some shitty code that I threw up over the weekend. But and it does not work because I don't have a MongoDB backing it on that site yet. But you can kind of see like it exists. I have the domain name. I have the web server. I'm writing code for it. I'll be writing a bunch of code for it this coming Sunday in my programming stream, which is my segue to say that's gonna be pretty much it. I think we're gonna close up the stream tonight. I hope you will come back to enjoy the music and the streaming and the sultry sound of my sexy voice on Thursday, where I will be doing some art and module layout stuff on stream, and then also Sunday where I do my programming stream. Yeah, that was fun. That was a really cool stream, dude. Kickstand, thanks so much for coming and joining. Again, Anna Claire, thank you so much for the subscription. And to any viewer out there, I love you. Like, it means a lot to me that you came today, and I hope you had a good time on my stream. And yeah, I'd love to hear from you, and let me know how I can do even better. So, thank you, and I said good night.